else.
I went to the dentist this morning and they fucking hacked away at my gums.
It's the worst pain.
But
Dental pain is truly the worst.
dental pain or stomach pain for the rest of your life?
Well, considering I have stomach pain for the rest of my life as is, I think I keep choosing that.
Same.
Dental pain is just like so unnerving. Like it makes your brain hurt. Here's another one. On the day that we decided not to do this or that, here's another one. Are you the type of person where your email notifications are more than one?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, me too.
Who's only got one?
No, like 0. There's people who clear out all of their push notifications all the time.
I try to clear it out, but it just immediately goes back to like 3,000. I'm like, well,
Yeah, like every once a month I try to be a type A person and it just like doesn't work. So,
yeah. It's a quarterly feat.
yeah. If I get one type A day a month, I'm in good spirits. All
Let's get
right.
into today's topic.
Let's get into it. And welcome back to the Overthinking Podcast, the show for women navigating fitness and life in a world that makes everything way more complicated than it needs to be. And we're your hosts. I'm Coach Bri.
And I'm Kelsie.
And if you're here, chances are you're tired of overthinking every fitness trend that demands us to shrink and has us feeling like we're in a system that never wanted us to win in the first place.
This podcast is your space for honest conversations and evidence based guidance so you can stop spiraling, start trusting yourself, and build a better version of health. Today, we're diving into something we get asked about all the time. How do we actually stay fit year round? How do we seem to eat everything we want, go out, work out, and do it all sustainably without it being our entire personalities? Like, not the crash diet fit, not the obsessing over macros fit, just like real, sustainable, enjoyably pretty fit.
And we want to start by saying this isn't a rigid system. We've never been a rigid podcast. These are guideposts, and these are things that have become our North Stars. They flex with life. They're not about perfection. And that honestly is actually the whole point. So think of this episode as a rule book or a toolkit, and more like us inviting you to actually just live. Okay.
So here's the thing that we want to say right out of the gate, because it's the foundation of everything else that we're about to share. It is so easy to scroll through Instagram or TikTok and play this comparison game, and you're looking at someone else's journey. We've all done it, right? You see someone looking incredible and your brain goes straight to, why don't I look like that? Or maybe they have something that you don't. But here's the question we actually want you to ask. How do your habits compare? What are you not seeing behind the photo? Because that's where the real story is.
And it's not fair to shame yourself about how you look or if your habits are inconsistent. And we're not even shaming you by having you ask. I think bringing awareness to these things is the key. And it's actually the best part. Your habits are the actionable things that lead to the aesthetic and athletic outcomes that you want. The body stuff is downstream of the behavior stuff. So that means this is good news because you actually can choose, you can choose it and you can change it. And you have way more control of the comparison spiral than maybe you think you do.
Yeah, so that's the secret. It's not a supplement, not a specific workout. It's building habits that are sustainable enough that you don't fall off every month. And we're going to break down exactly what that looks like for us.
I love this quote, and it's I might butcher it, but it's like you are a product of the things that you consistently do, right? Did I get
Yeah.
it? Yeah,
That
and
seems
it's so
accurate to me.
true,
Yeah.
right? Like when we're trying to step into a new identity, we think of the muse that we have, and that may be the hot girl on Instagram you saw on your explore page. That's fine, but when they're your muse, and you're just like, how come I don't look like that? But not asking yourself, how do they eat? How do they sleep? What are they doing for their mental health? That's where things get sticky and we get stuck.
Yeah.
So
Just
before we get
looking
in,
at someone's aesthetic is like the ultimate form of torment for yourself.
right, you just look at someone's bank account and you don't know if they saved their whole life or if they just happen to have like a big old dump of money. You don't know how much they worked for it. But when we start changing how we idolize people based on how they live and how they treat other people and how they treat themselves, there's a whole nother landscape of fitness that's available to us.
Yes.
So before we get into the actionable tips, which I know you all are here for, let's talk about the what. Because what does fit really mean? And it kind of means something different to everyone. Uh, so let's be clear on what your version of pretty fit means. So for me, pretty fit, I'll be honest, I strived for a six pack for like the majority of my fitness life. You know what I mean? Like I'm just gonna say it. I
I think
really
we've all
wanted that.
been there.
Yeah, no, and it was deep. Like it was deep for me. I wanted to look like I trained as hard as I did. I was training like 3 or 4 hours a day. I was calculating all my macros, and I spent a lot of my life kinda hating my body. And when I actually got lean and got that six pack and actually kinda stopped controlling everything, actually everything in my life was uncontrollable. And instead, I actually just started the only thing I could control was listening to my hunger cues, which were not there. So the more that I listened to them, the better relationship to my decisions I had, because really for a long time, I silenced hunger cues and then would also silence my satiety cues. So then I would like start binging and overeating, and then it became something a little bit different than just eating to fuel. So
What's I think funny about your journey, and not funny, but like ironic, is that you're saying you started to focus on only wanting abs for the longest time, but now here you are as someone who generally walks around with pretty lean body fat throughout your whole body every single day, and you're not controlling as much as you were back in the day. You're not doing CrossFit in the same way that you were. You're not taxing your system in the same way. You've kind of almost surrendered to what we like to call a lifestyle where fitness becomes sustainable. And now you have the body of your dreams because you're focusing on different things that aren't just aesthetic.
totally. And let's also be honest, it's not something that, oh, you're lean and now you just have that forever. Like, no, no, like the fear of losing it definitely, like, it's there. But to your point, when I finally arrived at like, oh, this is actually isn't about being perfect. It's actually about honoring what is happening and letting my body kind of govern what's going on. I actually feel like my relationship to food is better. And it's not to say that someone who's just starting a fitness journey and like wants to be lean and maybe you're wanting that six pack, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't track your food. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be meticulous about certain things, but use it as an education tool so that you can arrive at a place like you and I are, where I can look at any plate and roughly kind of know the macros and keep a little mental log. And
Yeah.
so, and we'll get into that later, but I would love to hear your story and kind of what pretty fit means to you.
Yeah. Right. And I think like you, I did care a lot about aesthetics, especially starting out. I was always someone that I called myself like skinny fat, right? Like I was very skinny, kind of like skeleton like I didn't have any muscle. I just felt like a bunch of skin and what I thought at the time was fat around me. And I was like, I just want to be lean. I want abs. I want, cap shoulders. I want all this stuff. And that was like the priority. I could never achieve it because I kept trying to like starve myself. And now I've gotten to a place where I don't want to be stage lean. I don't want shredded abs. I don't really care to compete in a sport, right? Like you're a very competitive athlete. That gives you your edge and your purpose. I
Mm.
personally don't have that drive. And most importantly, I'm not willing to give up foods that I love. So I want to find this balance of who I am as a fitness person while also still going out to eat, once maybe a week with my husband or my friends and smoking weed multiple times a week, which often leads to munchies. Like, how do I balance all of this while still being a fitness professional? I can show up for my clients. I'm physically strong. I have autonomy throughout my life. Like, the thing that I fear the most is losing my autonomy early in life, right? Like, if I'm 60 and I can't help myself, I can't lift my own luggage. I can't carry all my groceries in. I can't walk or step off a ledge without falling down. Like that sounds like the worst quality of life to me. Like, that's my biggest fear.
It's interesting because that population who is experiencing that and suffering from that exact thing now is who I work with every day at True Health. Like
Yeah.
the women, well, not every day. I mean, there's a vast range, but the majority of the women that I see are like 60s and 70s and have lost that independence. And all they want back is a little bit of confidence that they could go on a kayak trip next year. I'm not kidding. I worked with someone yesterday who didn't believe she could hold a 15-pound dumbbell. So of course I made her walk down the hall with it 15
Yeah.
times.
Right.
But then Like, she is like, "Oh, I actually think I could go on this kayaking trip." I'm like, "Absolutely. We are adaptable at any age. Every age we are adaptable. You
Yeah.
have to give it the right stimulus." So let's talk about that today. What are the stimuli that
And
we
to your
need?
point, right? Like, you don't have to, like, it's way harder to retroactively regain control of a lot of these systems, like your
Yeah.
musculoskeletal system, right? Like, if that starts to slip, you're going to have to work twice as hard in order to get it back. It's like the saying goes, plant a tree 20 years ago or whatever, or plant one today is the second best time. Like that, I don't know what that phrase is, but you know what I mean.
It's hitting. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
The first best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today, right?
Yes.
So whether the choice is to do it or not to do it, you're going to be better off to do it.
And exactly, if you're like the person who wants to be seen as like the fit girl in the office or like you're like the more fit friend, it's like it's not about necessarily how you look. It really is more how you act because give it a little bit of time and you start acting like that, you will start being that person. And it's not even that you want to necessarily show your body truly, people pick up on your vibe way more. And if this is you, that's okay. It doesn't make you vain. It's just like a survival mechanism. Like we are neurobiologically hardwired to want to look a certain way. One thing that I wanted to comment on because your story is different than mine, like, I was 197 and I was like, the biggest I've ever been, I was like, "This has to change." And you were smaller, wanting to get strong and see visible muscle tissue, but your journey was just as tough because you had to do the hard work of gaining muscle over time, which is a whole other ballpark that I think a lot of women are not as accustomed to hearing about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really
It
tough.
has its own challenges. I mean, it's just different, right? Different troubles.
Before we actually share what works for us, I think it's important for everyone listening to this to actually take a pause and think about the tracking systems that you use, the metrics that you use to determine are you on track or not? Like, are you still using the scale? Or are you using maybe progress videos or the favorite pair of jeans in your closet that you would love to put on again? Are you still using motivation as your cue to strike instead of striking to fuel motivation? And why does being pretty fit matter to you? Like, who is the person that you want to see you be pretty fit? 'Cause there's gotta be someone or a group of people that you're like, "Man, I really wanna impress them." May not, but I think it's worth considering.
Or a lot of parents or moms might be like, I want to be strong and be a good role model, more, wow, role model for my kids, right? Like that would be a great motivator for someone to take care of themselves.
Yeah. We mutually shared in the fact that we want to be strong for ourselves and independence, but being strong for our clients is increasingly important. I mean, a big driving factor of my workouts sometimes are like, "I gotta get this done because I can't be asking my clients to do stuff I'm not doing."
Right, right. Like who am I? Why should people listen to me if I'm not willing to also do the work that I'm wanting them to do, right? Like
Especially on
I
the
have
hard days.
Yes, we have to walk that walk. We got to show and share our story, which is why I think a lot of people hopefully look to us as like something relatable, right? Like we're not these die hard, live and breathe fitness people. Like we're dynamic. We have a lot more personality to us than just fitness.
We also train 3 to 4 times a week, okay? We are
Yeah.
not double day crazy people. We are humans who have done a lot of the stuff that you are wanting to achieve, and we're just gonna teach you to do it the way that is the quickest and honestly the least painful. So, it starts with structure.
Let's get into the habits for how we actually maintain the life that we have. So it starts with structure. This is going to be our habit number one. And this is probably the most important because it allows you to stop relying on motivation because motivation is a feeling and feelings are unreliable. Some days you wake up pumped to train, right? Like you got a new program, you're looking forward to that new leg day. But most days, you don't. You don't want to. Like right now in San Diego, it's raining for the last 3 days. I don't want to leave the house. So instead, we rely on systems and routines. We follow the program, not the mood. So groceries happen on the same day, meal preps happen on the same day, at least for me. And when life throws something at me, I have a backup plan already built in. I know we've talked about this on our travel episodes. Like if we're traveling and Sunday is usually my meal prep days, I'm thinking about, okay, I need to have my groceries delivered to me or a meal prep service ready to go so that I know that I'm prepared for Monday.
Yeah, or maybe you have food delivered for Monday, and then you're like, "I'm doing that grocery shopping and that prep Monday night."
Yes.
And I love what you said about motivation being fleeting because feelings only last about 15 minutes, right? The hormonal response of a feeling lasts about 15 minutes. And this is truly the biggest difference between people who stay consistent and people who are consistently starting over. It's not about willpower, it's about the structure, but it's also about when you deviate from the structure, how long you stay in that deviation. This always happens during the holidays. We talked about this a lot in our holiday series where you know, someone has a big blowout day and you let that guilt and shame just spiral, those are the people who are getting stuck and staying stuck. It's the people who are like, "Yeah, I fucked up yesterday. Let's get it back tomorrow. Here we go." Those are
Right.
the people who are gonna be able to do this well.
Right.
So, number 2, nutrition contents. When it comes to food, here's what we don't do. We don't obsess over eating as few calories as possible. You may have had a season like that. We've had a season like that as well. But low
How did
calorie,
that work out for us?
it didn't. Our hormones said, "We don't like you." But low calorie is not the goal here. If your goal is to stay pretty fit, that means you also wanna have energy for the other things that you wanna enjoy in your life. Uh, so instead, we focus on the simple structure around food that works: protein, fiber, color. If my plate has those 3 things, my plate, my snack, my event meal has those 3 things, then I know I'm doing well. If I'm particularly hungry on a day, then I prioritize even more of that fiber and color, the high volume eating that we talked about.
Yep. And another one for me, I personally don't drink my calories. That's a big one I think that people often miss. Liquid calories like juice, fancy coffees, hello Starbucks, alcohol, all of those add up so fast and they don't fill you up. So
Okay, hold on though. The pumpkin cold or the protein cold foam at Starbucks, every single woman at True Health has been coming in with this
listen,
protein cold foam.
Listen, I am not saying that it is off the table completely. I'm
Sure.
saying one, choose your priorities. Two, there might be an option that is not 400 calories, like a venti vanilla latte, right? Like you could get, here's my pro tip. If you're going to Starbucks, get a cafe au lait. So it's basically a reverse latte. So a latte is tiny shot of espresso, mostly milk, right?
Ooh.
A cafe au lait is black coffee, so your cup full of coffee with steamed milk at the top. You can add flavorings like your sugar-free pumpkin, your sugar-free vanilla. I would opt for sugar-free so you don't get the calories, but that's my personal preference. Again, this is not to say beverage calories are off the table. Just choose your priorities and account for it.
Hell yeah. Also, I did not know that was a thing. Cafe au
Yes.
lait. How fun.
Cafe au lait. Starbucks often doesn't know what it is. They're like, a what? I'm like, a misto. So if you call it a misto, they know what you're talking about.
Okay. Okay. I usually just go real old school and explain exactly what the heck I want and then put my own monk fruit in it anyways.
Yes.
Well, I love that you highlighted that alcohol is a big calorie consumer or a big calorie suck because it really is. And you don't think about it because no one really gets one drink. And if you are, it's probably a sugary one. So the other
Yep.
thing that genuinely changed my life, and this sounds a little silly, but stick with me, is the toll rule. If I want a sweet treat or something hyper palatable, I eat a real meal first. I actually learned that from you.
Yes.
Similar to
You got to
like on
pay
your
the hunger goblin.
you gotta pay the hunger gauntlet. Similar to, like, when you get a big plate of food and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna demolish this thing." Eat the protein first and let
Right.
that start digesting before you eat the good stuff. So pay the toll to the hunger goblin. And this is a good idea for you because if you go for the treat when you're actually really hungry, you will not stop at one. I guarantee your sweet treat does not have protein and a carb or protein and a fat. So if you're satisfied first, it's way easier to just enjoy and not go off the rails.
Right. And on the topic of tracking every single thing that you eat isn't mandatory. What is helpful is eating similar day to day with small variations. So that could look like the same base, different sauces, right? That consistency makes your body outcomes way more predictable than just like, one day it's yogurt for breakfast, the next day it's eggs, the next day it's something different. Like if you can try to have something similar every single day, you're more likely to be successful and not have to rely on tracking your food all the time.
I think a lot of people listening to this might think that you're referring to like chicken and rice every day, and I know you, and that is not the case. Can you give me like a couple of your like hottest favorite combos? Like mine is ground beef and rice. Like I could eat that anytime with any different sauce and I'll love it.
Right. So an easy one for me, like if I'm so burnt out of rice and whatever protein I choose, I'll just make it a pasta, right? I'll
Oh,
use like the lentil pasta or honestly just regular whole wheat noodles is good too. Any noodle really is fine. And then you can just switch up the sauce, right? Like sometimes I'll do a pesto, sometimes I'll do a red sauce, sometimes I don't really do white sauces, but the point stands, right? Like
yeah.
you can kind of mix and match your own variations with the same contents, the
Yeah.
contents being your protein, your color, and your veggies, your fiber, right?
I love the bowl method, the kitchen sink bowl
Mhm.
method, where you have, like you said, you choose your protein, you choose your fiber or color, and then you kinda just let the kitchen sink tell you what you need, and honestly,
Yes.
those are some of my favorite meals because I'll add, like, a
Yeah.
little sprinkling of this and that, and then even if it takes me a couple extra minutes to log it or not, then at least I have a better idea of what I'm eating, and I'll like it better. I'm glad we talked a little bit about some different ways to look at meal prep because I think we do get sick of like the rinse and repeat. And like I had Kevin's meals every single day for like 3 months, and I was like, I'm sick of this. So I just made him at
Yeah.
home. Right. So
I think we should rebrand meal prep and just call it fixation. I think if we call it fixation, people will be more into meal prep.
what if we just called it Girl Dinner Plus? And it was
Yeah.
just girl dinner, but you added protein to it.
It's strong girl dinner.
Yeah, strong girl dinner.
Regular girl dinner's canceled. It's strong girl dinner only.
That's right. Okay, and so on that strong girl note, let's talk about number 3, which is movement. Our third rule is all about movement. And as a culture, we're very sedentary. And as we get older, we're even more sedentary. So being intentional about moving throughout the day, aside from your workout, is so critical to your aesthetic gains. If you look at your what actually makes up your metabolism for your total energy that you need for the day, your resting metabolic rate makes up 50 to 70% of your total daily energy expenditure. So the more muscle you have and the more effort you put into building muscle, the faster your metabolism is. The second one is not actually exercise. It's actually non-exercise activity. So you fidgeting and doing house chores and going grocery shopping and parking and walking and all those things, that is actually what moves the needle on your body composition way more than exercise, especially in the short-term gains that we're looking for. So
So what
H
do you
10
recommend?
ooh, can't wait to tell you. H 10,000 steps a day, sure. That's like we've heard it and we know that it's not like research backed to be like 10,000 is the magic recipe, but it's enough. It's enough for your body to know that you're making an effort because no one just
10,000 is a lot. If
yeah.
you've ever tried to get 10,000, it will be confronting by how sedentary you really are. I'm speaking from firsthand experience.
Yeah, you are speaking for yourself on this one because most people don't just like sneeze and have 10,000 steps, right? Most people are around like the 4 to 5 to 6,000 like on average, which is a really good starting place. But what most people don't know is that 20 minutes gets you about 2,000 steps. So if you are someone who's stuck in like the 6,000 kind of mark and you're like, "Oh, it's so hard." Just add a 20-minute walk after your lunch and after dinner and you are easily at 10,000 steps. You could
Mhm.
also just do a meal after or a walk after each meal. 3 meals, 3 walks, that's about 6,000 steps right there.
Yep. I'd also add taking the stairs and parking farther. Those little things add up too, because it's not the workout movement, it's just being a human who moves, right? Like you're choosing your priority, you're saying, this is part of my identity. Not only does it help keep your energy high throughout the day, but it can also help you manage some stress, right? Like if you're having
Yes.
you got a stressful meeting with your boss and you just need to go walk it out, boom, there you go.
And I'll tell you, the walking after meals was actually, in and of itself, one of the biggest things that helped me get lean. And I'll say that because I struggle a lot with gut issues. I'm allergic to gluten and dairy, and I bloat all the time if I, 1, eat too fast, and 2, don't go for a walk after my meal. It really does help move food along your digestive tract, and just helps you assimilate the nutrients better so you actually get kind of the kick of energy better too. Should I talk a little bit about training? We
Sure.
talked about like movement as an ethos, and now let's talk about like the actual tangible training tactics.
Yeah.
So you don't need to be in the gym every day, right? We talked about how we go to the gym probably 3 or 4 times a week. Studies published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research found that training just 3 days a week with the right intensity led to similar muscle growth as someone training 6 days a week. So the key is progressive overload. That's the actual magic recipe. Progressive overload, enough volume relative to your goals, and also recovery. And we're talking about 8 to 12 reps per set. That's a little dogmatic. There's some nuance to it, but we love it. 10 to 20 sets per muscle group per week. And then RP about 7 to 9. And RPE is essentially a 1 to 10 scale where we determine how much effort we're putting in or how much effort we perceive that we're putting in. And so it's about 1 to 3 reps in the tank. That's where you want to get to. And if you're someone who's like a little bit scared to like lift really heavy and go to failure, then you're just someone who's going to probably have to do a little bit more reps to achieve the amount of effort that's needed to elicit an adaptation response. So if you're
Right.
the 15-pound pink dumbbell girly and it's too hard to go 20, that's okay. You just got to keep repping it out. And then
Add
we got
more
to bump up.
sets.
And then we got to add more sets, go to failure or work with a coach and she'll convince you can lift more weight than you think you can.
Exactly. Yes. So what I'm hearing is prioritize compound lifts, maybe
Mm.
track your progress, showing up consistently, and that's it. 3 days can be genuinely enough. And while we're on the topic of training, a good training plan is only as good as your recovery. So this is number 5. And this one is going to be focused on sleep because sleep is sacred. And I will say people underestimate how much sleep matters for your fitness outcome. Bri, you're rolling your eyes at me.
I know. And they just told me last night, they said sleep is a necessity, not a luxury. And you just said it. Oh,
Sleep is sacred. The amount of people that come in to see me for their morning session and they're like, I slept so bad last night. And I have to ask, okay, what'd you do before bed? Well, I was working on my laptop till midnight and then I got straight in bed. I'm like, okay, well, was there any downtime between? No? Okay, let's talk about your sleep hygiene now. So that's what we're going to talk about, and that's why this is important. People underestimate how much this matters for your outcomes. If you don't have the energy to show up and give it your all for your training, we need to look at your recovery. Sleep is when your body actually recovers. It affects your hormones, your hunger signals, your energy in the gym, your mood, everything.
have you ever woken up like super early for a flight and then you're like, I'm eating sugar the entire day?
100%.
Or just
Yes.
wake up early or like you wake up early unannounced and you're just like, I am now craving sugar for the foreseeable future. That is
Hmm.
because sleep deeply affects your hormones. And I will say this firsthand. Well, should we share a little bit about our rituals? Because listen, we're not perfect, okay?
We're all gonna audit Bree's sleep wind down routine
Yeah, everyone
together.
listening to this, audit me because, we're not all perfect, but we can still look good and move well and also not have everything dialed in 100%. So, my pre bedtime routine Monday through Wednesday, because I work till 4 and then commute an hour and a half home. And then I walk in the door around 6 and I instantly, usually, go to the pantry and eat a snack. I
You
really,
don't smoke a pre-roll first?
oh, no. I usually would like to race the gummy. And sometimes halfway through
Uh,
my drive, I'll take a gummy and just see if I can. No, I'm just kidding. That cut that out of there. Yeah, no, I'll do a little home toke, to end the day, and that's a big part of this whole evening routine thing is that you have to actually convince your brain that you're safe. That's why the guy who shuts his laptop at 12 a.m. and is like, "I'm not sleepy." It's because your brain has not been convinced yet that it's time to go to bed. But cortisol is very quick to spike. So I'm in that kind of zone right now. I come home, I'll either have my pre-planned dinner or I will get stuck into that snack trap. And I'll have a snack first and I probably won't eat my dinner and I'll take it for lunch tomorrow. And then I'll usually shower, walk my dog, and then I'll
mm.
probably just scroll and watch some Netflix and just keep smoking until it's time to go to bed.
So you're relying on these external substances. You're like, "Put me to fucking sleep, okay?"
That's the thing. I don't think weed makes me sleepy or fall asleep, but I think that because of the reduction in fear response that it creates, I
Yes.
think that THC does help me in that way for
Something to
sure.
take the edge off.
Something to take the edge off. But really, I do feel like the world's not ending. And so that's something that I'll be working on for the
You at
foreseeable
least
future.
forget about the world ending.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like it's ending right this moment. Like it might end,
Yeah.
but it's not right now.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
What's yours?
Like I said, my sleep routine is sacred, and I've gotten into a pretty good rhythm where I wear blue light glasses, usually after dinner around 6 or 7, whenever it gets dark, really.
Once the sun starts to set.
Yep, once the sun is set, my circadian rhythm is on it. I am getting sleepy, eyelids get heavy, so blue light glasses go on. Yes, they're not supported by research, but some things are just meant to be enjoyed even if they're placebo. So, it's what works for me. I don't really get on my phone much aside from like setting my alarm. If any clients text me, I'll try to respond. If not, like I'll usually even wait for those in the morning. Like that can wait. And then my phone, I definitely don't look at it an hour before bed. We usually are watching either TV or my husband plays video games, and that like puts me to sleep. So I get that like pre-sleep napetizer.
Oof.
And then lately I've been getting in bed around 8:30. I read my book, and as soon as I get a couple pages in, my book falls in my face and I am asleep.
Oh my god. Okay, maybe unpopular opinion, but I hate the nap to bed zone. That
Really?
yeah, like I just wanna be teleported.
It depends how long I'm asleep for. Like if I'm asleep for my little napetizer for like an hour, I'm getting in bed and I'm going to be wired. But if I can
Okay.
like catch it, right? Or and I'm just falling asleep, then I'll wake up and then I'll get in bed.
Okay, so that works for you. So like it's a time thing.
Yeah.
If you were to audit my routine, what might you suggest?
I would suggest doing your shower as the very last thing because a lot of
Oh.
what keeps us jazzed is our heart rate. And if you get home, you eat, you have your little pre-roll, you walk Zoe, the very last thing that you do, take your shower
Mm.
in probably something like, lukewarm, kind of calming, even turn down the lights a little bit. Maybe it's just candles or have a little vibey light in there.
I do
Start
in
to
fact have a little
prepare.
vibey light in there.
Yeah, start to prepare yourself. Maybe put on some like relaxing music, turn your phone on do not disturb. No more phone. As soon as like if it's 9 PM and you go to bed by 10, no more phone.
And then when do I watch Netflix?
You can watch TV. Yeah, that's fine.
With no phone.
Just no phone.
Okay, so
Nothing like stimulating, right? Like if you can watch Netflix and just kind of like take it as it is, you're not watching anything thrilling. That's all right.
you're not doing like IMDb background research on all the characters. Okay,
Yeah.
neither.
Don't go down any rabbit holes or, consume political information.
Is there anything around sleep routine and just like sleep environment or anything like that that you would suggest we consider?
Yeah, make sure your room is dark. If you have like big windows, try to get some blackout shades or curtains. I personally sleep with an eye mask. I've got a whole thing. I got earplugs, eye mask, mouth guard. I look super hot. Yeah, it's great.
You used to also wrap your hair in the
Oh, yeah.
leggings, like, the Kitsch hair curling sleep set? She did that with
Yep.
leggings,
I do wear a bonnet. Got to protect these curls.
and they are looking fire. I hope everyone listening to this is also gonna watch the YouTube.
We're now on YouTube, so go check out the curls.
Yes, YouTube has been looking so good. You've been doing a great job. For real, for
Thank you.
real. And I know let's wrap this up. I know we gave you a lot here. We tried to keep it short and sweet with 5 just cornerstone principles, but we wanna close out by zooming out for a second because the whole point of this episode isn't to hand you a new rule book and to make you feel guilty about things that you're doing. These are the things that have become our North Star. But life happens. Trips happen, stressful seasons happen, breakups happen, and the ability to roll with the punches and get quote unquote back on track without completely derailing is the skill. That is the whole point.
Yes, the people who stay pretty fit aren't the ones who are perfectly consistent. They're the ones who can miss a week or have shitty sleep routines
And own it and freaking own it.
and own it and try to improve it. They're the ones who can miss a week and get back to it without it meaning something terrible about themselves. Black and white thinking is the enemy of long term health. If you're thinking, I blew my diet, so the week is ruined, or I missed the gym, so I should just give up altogether, you wouldn't just throw your whole car away if you got a flat tire, would you?
I might. I might.
Brie might. She's over it.
I'm so sick of my car. Okay. But honestly, so the next time you feel your brain start to get into that toxic comparison game, do a little audit on your habits and see if they're aligned to the people that you look up to. And if everything is different, choose one thing to fix. Get a little dopamine motivation going, and you're on the right track. The ones who just slip up and just get back to it. No spiral, no punishment week, no like overtraining on Monday. They just say, okay, that happened. Maybe they ask for some accountability from a friend. Maybe they tell their coach, they come to the confessional with the coach is definitely something that'll get you back on track. But it's okay. It happened. And being pretty fit is just that. It's pretty fit. It's a lifestyle. It's not like a phase. And it has to be flexible enough to fit your life where it is now.
As Ted Lasso would say, be a goldfish. It happened, move on.
Exactly.
So we hope by now we've given you something you can actually use and put into action. If this episode resonated, share it with a friend who needs to hear it too. Leave us a review if you've been loving the show, either on Spotify or on YouTube. It genuinely helps more people find us and helps calm the chaos of the fitness and nutrition industry. As always, connect with us on Instagram or YouTube at overt_thinking podcast, at Brianna Lamb, at Kelsie Michelle, and we will see you
In the
in the next episode.